This message is from a spirit who communicated in October 26, 2017. I must say that depression that kills the physical body persists after death. Therefore, to think of it only from an organic point of view is to see it only partially. From personal experience, I say that the physical chemical part is merely a trigger, the head of a matchstick, because if were not so, when the physical body dies, depression would cease along with the physical cause that triggered it. I'm not a specialist, but I can say from my own experience that this subject is complex, and two human beings may behave very differently when touched by depression. I recognize in myself that my depression had its root in the absence of good I should have done. In other words, I speak here of my omissions, of my negligence regarding the duties I assumed in the spiritual plane, which did not translate into concrete actions in material life. Everything that happened served as an excuse to postpone charitable and assistance plans. Those who are older will remember the time of hyperinflation oil crisis in Brazil. I use all kinds of crises not as an opportunities but as excuses, flimsy justifications, not to use my wealth to benefit others. I was supposed to, that was the plan, support and create shelters for helpless children and the elderly. Did I do any of that? No, because gold, greed led me astray. I was seduced by the siren song. Instead of tying myself to the mast like Ulysses to resist, I didn't pray. I didn't ask for help. I simply found ways to silence the friendly voices inviting me to make amends. I treated that I assumed was mine, but in truth belonged to the Creator. However I pleased, just to satisfy every whim of my family, while children remained neglected and the elderly succumbed to abandon by their own families. I thought, this is not my problem. I believe that since there were so many problems in the world, I didn't have the power to fix them. Like walking on a beach under a high sun, throwing back starfish that was burning. So many were dying, and I ignored the fact that I could have made a difference to the few I managed to help. Many of us see the world as beyond saving. After all, what power do we have individually to change things? Wrongly, we may think there is nothing we can do, but the reality is quite different. If there were billions of us on earth and each of one do at least a little, we can change the face of the planet. We can even help Jesus to establish his world of regeneration here, and as a result, we will no longer feel so sad and depressed under the weight of our unwished guilt. Yes, there are those who, out of pride, denial, or resistance to life's hardships, fall into depression. But the saddest and the most miserable is the one who does not do what they should, what they could have done, which are called here negligent one. This being, me, did not feel compassion for the suffering brothers. I was the Levite, the priest, who passed by the one who had fallen on the road, a victim of robbers. Jesus' parable. Pay attention to whether the pain of others stirs companion in you, or if you simply feel nothing. Evaluate whether you are cold, calculating, dissimulating, for being unaffected by the suffering of others is a sign of inferiority, of being a desert where love and charity are lacking. How do I know this? Because I was the desert My entire life, I only looked after my own belly button and my family. Everything and everyone outside my family simply didn't interest me. How blind I was. How many opportunities I missed. I can say that that was the best thing that ever happened to me because only through it did I open my eyes. I realized that everything I accumulated and left to my children was in vain. On the contrary, I was able to witness how quickly they squandered the goods I left on futile ventures until nothing remained. And do you know why that happened? Because I was unable to teach them anything good, morally speaking. Not even my skill in business, my Midas touch, since everything I did used to succeed and produce results. That is democratic because everyone currently living on earth will be embraced by it sooner or later. Unfortunately, it was only after my body died that I realized that the truly matters in the spiritual plane are one's work, the good that was built. Everything else, material things, is accessory. They are merely means to an end. Goodness and charity. If I could gain an extension of my last life, keeping the knowledge I acquired on this side of life, I would have practiced detachment. I would have made the daily choices to no longer suffer from anything material, striving to put what I have at the service of those who have less. Easy to say, isn't it? Just seeing the color of money can change everything. But you, even though you don't remember the promise made before birth in the spiritual realm, have the Spiritist doctrine to remind you of all that was forgotten by the veil of forgetfulness at birth. I don't mean to put anyone on the spot, but there are no excuses for you. Have you ever thought about that? If you are stingy miserly, the weight of regret will be far greater. Think about that. Try not to silence your conscience. Consider whether you always have more than what you need to live, while many have little or nothing. Thank you for listening to me. The fact that I'm here telling my story ensures that at least, sorry, someone will benefit from it. Adios, friends. Be well. A friend. Here's the note from the mentor. Attachment to material things is the crystallization of the selfishness that still resides in each of you. We are not forbidding you to have cherished possessions. The problem lies in excess, when the sense of ownership takes over you, when material things become a source of conflict, arguments, and separation. Losing things is part of life. Let us revisit the example of Job, his patience, and trust in higher purpose. Let us strive to be more humane, more servants than owners. Let us practice detachment every single day from all kinds of things, situations, and even people. Nothing here belongs to you. Everything is lent to you, even your own physical body. Warm regards. Until the next one. Peace.